So, we have total differentiation. So, total differentiation, we have been doing it since, ano module pa? Module, we have been, total differentiation, it's, parang taking the differential of both sides. Okay? So, for example, kung maalala niyo sa previous lessons, di ba, we have, for example, we have area, di ba, of a circle is equal to pi r squared. Okay? Tapos we take the differential of both sides, di ba? That's for error propagation or for whatever problem, di ba? That's dA is equal to pi times 2r dr. Okay? Yan. Or for example, we have volume of a cylinder na pi r squared h. Okay? If we take the differential of each side, this will be 1 times dv is equal to pi times, ito is product rule. Okay, we have two variables. So that's copy the first, r squared. Differentiate the second, that's 1 dh. Plus, copy the second, so h. Differentiate the first, so that's times 2r. Then every time mag-differentiate ka ng variable, lagyan mo siya ng differential of that variable, so dr. Yan. If we simplify this, this will be 2 pi r dr. This one will be pi times r squared dh plus 2rh dr. Okay, meron pa. So, let's say you have u is equal to xy squared plus z cubed. Okay? If we take the differential of both sides, that will be du, 1 du is equal to product rule. So, that's copy the first, differentiate the second, that's 2y dy, plus copy the second, y squared, differentiate x, 1 dx, so that's dx plus 3z squared dz. Okay. So yan sila, that's they are called the total differentials. Okay? That's through taking the differentials of both sides. Okay. See, total differentiation, it can also it is also achieved through partial differentiation. So, ito siya, okay? Di ba maka-differentiate tayo na hindi magamit ng partial differentiation. Okay. Si total differentiation has two ways. You differentiate ng diretso or you can use partial differentiation. So, what if we use partial differentiation? Okay. So, kung partial differentiation, you have actually a formula. Okay. So, you look at this. Okay, so if you have your equation, ano yung formula niya? So you look at this the formula. So ano yung dependent variable mo? It's area. So meaning it's dA is equal to, you look at your variables lang. So in this case, you have one variable. So this is simply going to be partial differential of r, I don't know, partial differential of a, okay, with respect to r, tapos lagyan nyo lang ng dr. Yan na siya. For example, dito sa second, dalawang variable mo. So meaning, dalawa din ang terms mo. It will be dv is equal to, ilang variables meron ka? You have 2. So meaning 2 terms. So with respect to the 2 terms ka mag-partial differential. Tapos lagyan mo ng d of your, o ano yung variable sa baba, each time may term ka. So, for example, partial differential of v with respect to r, dr, plus partial differential of h with, partial differential of v with respect to h, okay? Always sa baba yung variables mo. Tapos, dh. Sa last naman, that's du will be equal to partial differential of u with respect to x, dx, plus partial differential of u with respect to y, dy, plus partial differential of u with respect to z, dz. Okay? So, ito yung concept ni total differentiation, okay? Na pwede siya i-solve through partial. So, if we try to solve it through partial differentiation, okay, this will be dA is equal to, lagyan mo ng dr daan, okay? So, what is the partial differential of A with respect to R? That will be pi times 2R, okay? So, you'll actually get the same partial differential. It's just that, yung process, it involves partial differentiation. Okay? So, actually, dito, kailangan mo pa mag-ano. Okay. Dito, kailangan, actually, kailangan ipakita mo yung partial of A with respect to R will be equal to, so that's 2 pi R. Ganyan. Example, sa second, tapos dyan, doon mo pa siya i-substitute here. Sa second, partial of V with respect to R, it's pi times, pi h di ay, labas. Si R lang variable. Pi h times 2R. Okay? So, it will be equal to 2 pi RH. What about partial of V with respect to H? That will be pi R squared times 1. Or pi R squared lang. So, after you get both of these, okay, you input them sa iyong total differential equation. dV is equal to 2 pi RH. This is with respect to R man eh. Okay. So, 2 pi RH dr plus pi R squared dH. Okay, tapos factor out common. So, ang common is pi R. Okay, so that's 2h dr plus r dh. Okay, na-gets ba yung concept niya? Wala kasi sa module. Questions? May ask ba kayo? Okay, let's try number 3. Okay. So, meron kasi yan sa exam. Okay? Nakita ko. Okay, anyway. Nakita ko yung topic. Okay. So, for example, sa instructions kasi dito, find the total differential of, for example, u using partial derivatives. So, kailangan nyo mag-make ng formula. So, in this case, it will be du is equal to how many variables? 3. So, meaning 3 terms. So, that is partial of u with respect to x, tapos lagyan nyo ng dx. Plus, partial of u with respect to y, dy. Plus, partial of u with respect to z, dz. Okay, so kunin mo yan lahat. So, what is the partial of u with respect to x? That will be copy y squared. Differential of x is 1. Y squared lang. What is the partial of u with respect to y? Copy x, differentiate y squared, that's 2y. So 2xy. Then the partial of u with respect to z, that will be equal to 3z squared. So we simply we simply substitute everything to our formula. So du is now equal to y squared dx plus 2xy dy plus 3z squared dz. Tapos, kung wala nang ma-simplify, diretso, yan na yung iyong answer. Any questions? So, walang questions? Sige. Sige, mag-ano muna tayo sa applications. So, the last lesson for this sem is applications of partial differentials or application on partial differentiation. So, ano to siya? Mga tangent lines, ganyan. Okay? Error propagation, kita nyo sa module 3, lesson 10. Or 11 ba yun? Basta yun. Okay? Sige. So, let's go with the first. So, the geometric interpretation of the partial derivative. So, let the graph of a surface, so ang surface mo, ayan siya, be defined by the equation z is equal to fxy, shown below, and fxy. So, meaning ito pa lang, itong nasa plane ni x and y. And let point, okay, let point P, ito, zoom pa natin. Let point P be this one. Okay. And it's point P. It's a it's a point in the in x, y, and z. Yeah. Then the plane passing through P and parallel to the xz plane has the equation y is equal to yo or y sub o. Yan. Asan na yun? Ayan. The intersection of the surface z is equal to f of x and y, and the plane y is equal to y sub o is the curve APB as shown. Okay, so we have, ito yung actually ito yung area natin, okay? We have an area, and ito. Okay. Then z is a function of x and y, okay? So, ang buong surface natin is, color ko na lang red. Okay. So, ito yung buong surface natin. Okay. And then, we have at point P. Okay? Sabi niya, at point P, nagkuha siya ng tangent line. Yan. So, ang plane passing through P and parallel to the xy plane, no? It's this one, it's the line. Has the equation y is equal to y sub o. And then yung intersection daw of the surface z and the plane y is equal to y sub o is the curve APB. So, we have our tangent line. Let's color it green. So, this is our tangent line. That is our tangent line at point P. Then, ang part daw ng surface na nag-intersect and then parallel sa ating tangent line is itong curve APB. Ito. Okay, that's not an official line to surface. That's just the line at which it is parallel to your tangent line. Okay. So, okay. So, ito na application, magdepende kung anong plane ka nagiging constant. Okay. In this case, ang plane in which constant ang yung value is at y. So, meaning, you take the partial differential of z with respect to x. So, since constant si y, you do not take the partial differential of z with respect to y. Kasi constant siya. So, you have to take the partial differential of the variable na hindi constant. Okay? So, in this case, it's x to find the slope of the tangent curve at point P. So, sige, wait lang ba? Yeah. Okay. So, kung maalala nyo, this is actually a point slope formula. Except na, hindi y ang gamit niya because y is a constant. Okay? Y is constant. Okay? Ang gagamitin niya is point z minus z sub o or z sub 0 is equal to the slope times x minus x sub o. Okay? What if, ma'am, x yung constant? Okay? What if x yung constant? So, x is equal to a constant na x sub o. Okay? Meaning, your equation will be z minus z sub o is equal to m sub o times y minus y sub o. Okay? You replace x with y. And then your slope will now be equal to, since x is constant, you get partial derivative of z with respect to y. Basta mag-get siya lang later. Question?
Ma'am, giunsa ganito pagkabalo ma'am na si y ang constant?
Makita rin mamaya. Sa may problems man na. Ito. Okay? So, malaman nila, yan siya. Okay. It's actually going to be given, the plane, y is equal to 1. Ganyan, maging ganyan siya. Okay? So, kung mag-give siya ng number for, let's say, x or y, ayan, given x or y, okay? I-ano mo siya na i-define mo siya na siya na yung constant. Okay? So, given, malaman mo yan sa actual na word problems.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So, ito siya. This is when y is constant. Okay? Ito yung equations. What about when x is constant? Okay? In this case, kung makita nyo, this is a situation where x is constant. Ayan siya. Kasi x will always be equal to x sub o. Si y, it will change. Si z, it will change. Okay? And then, kanina, y will always be constant for the line here. In this case, x will always be constant. So, ang equation, yung gishow ko kanina, it's z minus, ayan siya. Then, where m sub o is the value of partial of z with respect to y at point P. So, let's try. says find the equation of the tangent line to the parabola z is equal to x squared plus 3y squared. And then y is equal to 1 at the point 2, 1, and 7. So, ito siya. Wait lang. Ano ang slope niya? Ay, okay. Diretso lang pala. Okay, wala nang given required. Something. Yeah. So, equation of the tangent line to the parabola z is equal to x squared plus 3y squared. Then y is equal to 1 at point 217. Okay, sige, mag-given lang tayo. Given z is equal to x squared plus 3y squared. Y is equal to 1 at point 217. At 217. Required. Ay, mali pa rin. Required tangent line at point 2, 1, and 7. Yeah. So, anong first gawin? Okay. You look at what's constant. So, in this case, y is constant. So, meaning your equation would be y for y, okay, is equal to y sub o. Or y is equal to 1 always. Okay, y sub o is equal to 1 dapat. Okay. So, what about for your tangent line? So, in this case, since y is constant, your slope will be equal to partial of z with respect to x. So, we take the partial of z with respect to x. That will be 2x. Yeah. 2x plus 0 or partial of z with respect to x is 2x. So, to get your m sub o, okay, at point 2, 1, 7, m sub o is equal to 2 times, what is your x? 2, okay. What if may y variable, ma'am, and may z variable? Okay, i-substitute mo yung corresponding na coordinate niya. Okay? So, for example, itong bigyan na. In this case, your slope is 4. Okay. So, you now have your slope. Then you have point z, x, y, z. Okay, given naman yan. Okay. Then you have equation y. Okay, diretso na. What is your tangent line? So, that's z. You have to write muna the formula. Z minus z sub o is equal to slope times, in this case, it's x minus x sub o. Bakit? Y is constant. Then, lagyan ng comma, y is equal to y sub o. So, input lang everything. So, z minus 7 is equal to 4 times x minus 2. And then, y is equal to 1. Then, you simplify. Tingnan ko paano yung simplify. I-isolate niya si z. So, isolating z, okay, that will be z is equal to 4x minus 8, then plus 7. Okay, dapat may y is equal to 1. Z is equal to 4x minus 1. Then y is equal to 1. So, the equations for your tangent line are ito. You have two equations. Z is equal to 4x minus 1 and y is equal to 1. Okay, questions? Ano lang siya medyo lang siya, no? Simple. Let's try the next example. Actually, what? the total differentiation application. So consider again the function z is equal to f of xy. If we change x by delta x and y by delta y, then z will change by delta z. That is, z plus delta z is equal to f of x plus delta x and then y plus delta y. Ipakita ko na to. Actually, concept lang man iso. Yan na ni sabta. Okay? So, ang ginamina lang is z will increase by delta z if if x increases by delta x and y increases by delta y. Or increase or decrease, okay? Then si z, gigawa niyang z is equal to f of xy. So, to solve for delta z, it will be f of x plus delta x and y plus delta y minus f of xy. So, it can be shown that when are sufficiently small, delta z and dz are nearly equal. Hence, dz is the approximation. Okay. So, ang ginamin niya lang, you can use total differential for to approximate values. Okay, so, let's say we have a word problem here. Okay, ano to sabta itong giyaw-yaw na ko. Okay, a right circular cylinder. Okay, let's give it. A right circular cylinder has a base radius 4 cm and height 12 cm. Okay, balik na naman, memorize ng mga basic na formulas. So, radius 4 cm. Find the approximate increase in the volume of the cylinder if the radius is increased by 0.2 cm and the height by 0.3 cm. So, ito yung ginagawa natin sa module 3, di ba? Error propagation, di ba? We use differentials to approximate increases, decreases in area, volume, etc. Okay, so murag ibalik lang gihapon na to siya, except that we are using the concept of partial differentials, okay? So, you can solve using two ways, okay? To check, okay? Pero if the instruction says, use partial differential to approximate the increase, okay? Meaning, you have to use the concept of partial differential. Okay. So, in this case, radius is 4 cm. Height is 12 cm. Then, ano ba yun? dr, okay? Slight increase in radius is 0.2 cm. And slight increase in height is 0.3 cm. What is required? What is the approximate increase in volume? So that's dV. So first, you have to define your equation. V is equal to, what is the volume of a cylinder? That's pi r squared h. Meaning, your equation will be dV using partial differentials. It will be dV times partial of V with respect to r, dr, plus partial of V with respect to h, dh. Okay? So, we're actually using the same, it will actually yield the same if you use yung sa module 3 na solution na differentials diretso. But, sa exam, maybe kasi specify na use partial differentials to parang approximate value. Okay? So, kailangan partial differentials na concept ang gamitin. So, in this case, you look at your variables. You have two variables. So, meaning you will have two terms. So, take the partial of your function with respect to each variable. Then, lagyan nyo ng d of that variable. So let's get the partial of v with respect to r. That will be pi, everything except r is a constant, so let's take out pi h, that's 2r, times 2r. 2 pi rh. How about the partial of v with respect to h? That will be pi r squared times 1 or pi r squared. Okay, take out pi r squared kasi si h lang ang variable natin. Then we input dv is equal to 2 pi rh dr plus pi r squared dh. So you have r, you have h, you have dr, okay? You can now solve for dv. dv would be equal to 2 pi, r is 4, h is 12, dr is 0.2 plus pi r squared, what is r? r is 4 squared, dh is 0.3. So dv will be equal to, okay, wait lang po ako calculate, okay, para magpabilis lang. Pero if ever may ganito sa exam, okay, manual na naman pag-calculate. Nay, borrow calculate, Nay. Thanks. Okay, so i-calculate ko na lang para mabilis. Okay, check ko wala ko tama yan. Pwede pala hindi na yan ng pi. Just evaluate the yung mga 0.2 and 0.3, okay? Pwede yata hindi yung pi dito sa para buo. Okay? So this will be this will be 19.2 pi plus 4.8 pi. So dv is now equal to 24 pi. Then, since it's change in volume, you have to use unit for volume. So 24 pi cubic centimeters. Okay. So, ayan. Okay, the approximate change in volume there. Change in volume of the cylinder is 24 pi cubic centimeters. Question ba? Okay, medyo madali lang, medyo may lang tayo, mahirapan lang siguro same sa module 3, no? Medyo matagalan lang siguro sa pag-manual na calculation. Pero yung concept niya, we're using total differentiation. Ano pa may next example? Okay. So ito, bumalik na naman si relative error and percentage error. Okay. So same formula lang, 'di ba? It's either dA over A or dr over r. Okay, same kung balikan yung module 3, it's actually the same formula. For relative error and percentage error. So times 100 lang si percentage error. Then si relative error is as is dz over z, parang ganyan. or dA over A. No. So, sige. Right. So, given the dimensions of a box are measured to be box. Murag butter, pero box na siya. The dimensions of a box are measured to be 4, 6, and 10 feet. Okay, so let's say that's 4. Okay, this is 6. Then this is 10. Yeah. 4, 6, and 10 feet. Feet. Pero ang units na. Feet. Given. If there is an error of 0.08 feet in each measurement, find the percentage error in the computed volume. So let's pwede kasi to length with height, pwede x, y, z. Okay, just denote them as any variable, no? Each dimension. So given, let's say x, y, z na lang. X is equal to 4 feet. Y is equal to 6 feet. Z is equal to 10 feet. Tapos, if there is an error of 0.08 feet in each measurement. So meaning, pwede dx is equal to dy is equal to dz is equal to 0.08 feet. Required. Percentage error of volume. Okay. So what is the volume equation for volume of this box? That will be length times width times height. In this case, it's x times y times z. So, using partial differentials, we need to get the total differential of your volume, okay, para ma-apply si dx, dy, dz. Okay. So, pwede din na hindi partial differentials, no? Just like yung sinabi ko kanina, it's the same concept, we're just using a different method of solving. Pero in this case, since we're in the module of partial differentials, let's use partial differentials to solve for the error or to find the approximate increase. Okay, in this case, that's partial of v with respect to each of your variables. So with respect to x, dx plus partial of v with respect to y, dy plus partial of v with respect to z, dz. This case, partial of v with respect to x is yz times 1. Partial of v with respect to y is xz times 1. Then partial of v with respect to z is xy times 1. So your equation is now dv is equal to yz dx plus xz dy plus xy dz. So you have you have xyz, and then you also have your dx dy dz. You simply substitute everything. So this will be 6 times 10 times 0.08 plus 4 times 10 times 0.08 plus 4 times 6 times 0.08. Okay. So this will be 4.8 plus 3.2 plus 1.92. So this is yeah. So this will now be dV is 9.92, okay, unit cubic feet. Okay, do not stop there, okay? What is the percent error for volume equation at that's dV over V times 100. Okay, so let's proceed to the next slide. You have dV is equal to 9.92 feet cube. Then percent error for V is dV over V times 100. So you have dV, you don't have V yet. So V is simply XYZ. So that's 4 times 6 times 10, which is 240 feet cube. Tama ba? 24 times 10. 240 feet cube. So for percentage error of volume, you will have 9.92 feet cube over 240 feet cube times 100. Check ko lang kung tama yun. Yeah. So, yeah. Sa exam, if ever, mano-mano yan, meron. If ever meron, yung mano-mano yan, that will be times 100, that's 4.13%. So, yan yung answer mo. Okay, what if relative error hinahanap, if relative error of V, that will be dV over V lang. Walang times 100. Okay? So, that will be, I guess, that will be 0.0413. Yeah. Okay, so, yun yung answer. Any questions ba? Okay, so I think that's the last na